Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well, hope you're all doing fantastic, and that you're all having an absolutely incredible day. Don't forget to follow me on social media. There are links in the description below. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Bit of weird news stories. It feels like everyone is jumping onto and jumping back onto the cryptocurrency bandwagon over the course of maybe the last week or so. Optimism, if you haven't been here, is quite high. Expectations are still, we had a bit of a rough patch apparently, but all the analysts are back in full force talking about where Bitcoin's price is going to be in the coming weeks, in the coming month and a half. There are a lot of news we've been getting, a lot of analysts we've been hearing from who are reporting, predicting, expecting a $150,000 Bitcoin, a $200,000 Bitcoin basically being around the corner, as it appears as if there might be a lot of alleviation to the stresses we've been having financially over the course of the last couple of months, but that's still also entirely to be seen. When I talked about the bandwagon, a number of companies back in the olden days, 2015, 16, 17, 18, dismissed crypto as a complete fad. It's never going anywhere. Crypto has no future. For some reason, in 2019, 2020, they jumped on it full force and were talking about how amazing crypto was, how amazing blockchain and stable coins, and this is going to revolutionize the world. Prices went down in 2022, and mainly us remained until BlackRock got in, and now we're in a whole nother level of hype and institutionalism, or corporatization of the cryptocurrency market, as it's called. This one's a bit of a remix. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about, and it shows that people are realizing again how much money there actually is to be made within this market, and they're basically just trying to, you'll see. And then I'll also give you some little extra tidbits as well, because this one goes way back. Apparently Meta, I hate calling them Meta because they don't really even do their metaverse thing anymore. I just still call them Facebook because they're basically still Facebook. Facebook is reportedly thinking about the idea of using stablecoins. Yeah. For small payout to content creators. This might sound familiar. It's because back in 2018, 19, 2021, Facebook tried to make and they successfully did it. They tried to make their own stablecoin. It was called Libra, something like that. And then I think it had a second name when they were trying to rebrand it, which is, excuse my French, which is freaking crazy. Really almost cursed, because I was like, you know that we still know that it's you that made it, right? You can name it Doggy Poop Poop. We will still know that it is from Facebook. We're not going to be like, wait, that one has a brand new name. Maybe it's okay. So Facebook realized when Tether years ago was making an enormous amount of money that they wanted to do the exact same thing. But they did it, I can't say that word. They did it to an entirely different degree. You see, my friends, where Tether has been buying treasury bills, and we had reports years ago that they owned a lot of real estate and gold and silver, etc., and bonds to back Tether. Facebook, from the get-go, apparently from the news stories, was backing their stablecoin with treasury bills and bonds. and stocks and other assets and equities from other countries. Yeah, so that was already, nail in the coffin number one. The second part is that we, the public, so I really can't imagine how deep this actually went. We found out that apparently the people from Facebook were in talks with a number of countries. Yeah. So they were actually talking to a number of different countries, basically who were severely in debt. And the rumor goes that people from Facebook went to the leaders of these countries and said, oh gosh, it looks like you guys don't have a lot of money. Well, what if we paid off your debts? I know, surprising, right? But we asked this one thing in return. Can you use our stable coin alongside your national currency? You still have your national currency, but also using our currency as well. The third nail came from, we found out, if you weren't here, and I should have the wheel here, but it's not that important. There was like a wheel of companies who apparently for a year and a half were in discussion with Facebook, knowing that they were going to launch this stablecoin. The idea of the stablecoin was, you would have all these major companies who would be able to essentially shill and tell other people about how amazing this coin was. B, on Facebook Marketplace, basically anyone who had a Facebook account would automatically get a Facebook wallet. And you would also, rumors were, everyone would be credited with $5, $10, or $15 worth of this stablecoin that appeared out of thin air. And basically you would be incentivized to use that free money that you got. The other kicker is that on Facebook Marketplace, people realized that they were going to start offering discounts. So if you do use the Facebook coin, you get 15% off. That's when we began to connect the dots and we saw that Lyft and Uber and all these other companies were also on that wheel of companies. And they were also going to begin to integrate this coin as well and basically tell their customers, well, if you use our services and you use the Facebook coin, you get a 15-20% discount, which would then cause people to flood into Facebook coin. De facto, here's the reason, if you were wondering why Facebook coin disappeared or you didn't hear about it anymore, there's a good reason. Well, guesstimates are roughly that Facebook has around 1 billion users. They may not all be as active as other people are, but people still have their accounts. If 1 billion people overnight had been given free money and also essentially had been given this, account, this digital wallet on Facebook, Facebook would have overnight become the largest bank on the planet. Yeah, you remember like all those dispositions and like all the people from the Senate and Congress like really grilling them and being like, "What are you guys doing? What's going on?" That's why, because everyone connected the dots really fast. On top of that as well, the other rumors that we were getting about them talking to like these other countries, it basically would have put these countries in debt to Facebook for about a good 10, 15, 20 plus or so years, and would have caused, like, when you have, this is part of the strength when you talk about that countries are adopting Bitcoin, like through like sheer force of will, trying to get these people to understand what this system is. Imagine if 8 countries overnight were like, yeah, we're using Facebook coin as part of our national currency. And then 3 other countries were like, we're also severely in debt. We have to do the exact same thing. And then you had 14 countries who were like, yeah, we're all using Facebook coin. Citizens are using it as well. That's why this news is really weird, because Facebook is trying to basically do it again. By this time, saying that, but we want to do it to help the creators. We want to make sure that we're doing it to, no, it's always just like nothing else. There is no help. There is no like making things easier. There is no. It's always that Facebook has found a way that if they launch their own stable coin, because we've gone over this before, Whenever you have someone, a company or an institution saying that they're trying to make things easier or make things better, or they want to improve an ecosystem, we already have those ecosystems. Why isn't Facebook improving Bitcoin? Why aren't they adopting XRP as their form of payment? Why aren't they launching on top of Ethereum? It's because they want to launch their own thing so that it's centralized and that they get all of the fees. Remember years ago when multiple crypto exchanges were delisting the stable coins of other companies? And I was like, yeah, it's because they realized that they're basically giving those fees to those other platforms. Meta is reportedly getting into the world of crypto again. We heard news initially by one of these COO ABCs, whatever they're called. Not Zuckerberg, but someone else came forward and actually said, wink, that they were trying, so-called, to integrate Bitcoin first. But they said we didn't know how to do it, so we were like, okay, cool, we'll just create our own coin. And I was like, you don't have to lie. Like, just say you just want more money. Reportedly trying to get into the world of crypto again, according to Fortune, which cites five different anonymous sources. The company is now mulling the inclusion of stablecoins as part of its payout arsenal for content creators. The implementation of stablecoins would simplify the settlement of small payments to Instagram influencers who are currently marred with high transaction fees and other problems derived from using fiat currencies in different countries. I'm so sure Facebook always making it better for everyone. Ginger Baker, who started at Meta as a VP of product in January and has a crypto background, would be part of these talks, which are exploratory and don't have a service provider locked in yet. Can you imagine why? Because the moment they announce that they're going to be doing this, people are going to immediately run at them. There's no like real question about this. They kind of basically missed their chance. I think this would have, if these people had launched the stable coin backed by their money and had initially overnight given people these wallet addresses preloaded with $10, it would have taken off. Immediately would have taken off. Tons of people would have used it. And then had they spoken to the countries, people would have been like, well, it's been around for a year and a half, you know, regulation, blah, 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 blah. Nope. They wanted a full shebang from the very beginning. So this was oddly enough, super popular news. It's because there's a lot of new people in the space who don't know about what Facebook tried to do before. B, there's a lot of people in the space who don't care about what Facebook did before. Yeah, remember when Facebook was stealing everybody's data and information and reading through your messages? And you might, I don't know where you are in the world, but where I am, they had advertisements on buses inside of the metro. When you would go to the airport, there were these big signs that literally said, we're sorry. We're going to try and do better. We stole your data. We're sorry. We're going to make sure that it's like, okay. So, yeah, no one should really be trusting any large corporation with their data or their money. Nonetheless, Facebook. But sure, this was once again very popular because people believe that it has to do with actual adoption. We already have stable coins. We don't need 9,000 other ones. Why aren't they integrating with any other stable coin that's already been around right now? It's because it's Facebook and they want your data and your information. That's how it always works. That's the Facebook stablecoin news. I give it 2 months. They're going to try and announce something and it's going to get shut down very, very quick because also nobody wants this. Not one. I'm going to use my psychic powers. Not one of you is asking for this. Like, not one of you. Fantastic. That's the Facebook stablecoin news. Wow, how dystopian. And yeah, let's move on. Also, jumping on the bandwagon news, I don't know if they think we're stupid or what exactly. is supposed to be happening here. Where are the words? Where are the words? Where are the... There we go. So, you know, like the south of France, there's an area called Cannes, Cannes. Apparently, local merchants in Cannes will start accepting crypto payments this summer. Well, that seems nice of them. Cannes municipal government expects a 90% crypto acceptance rate among local merchants. Why in the world would they be doing that? Panama City recently approved crypto payments for taxes and municipal fees, including bus tickets and permits, as did... What was the other place? Was it Marseille? There was just another south of France city that also just recently announced that they were also, I think it was Marseille, who also just said, like, you can pay for buses, you can pay for tickets. And I was like, no one there is paying for a bus ticket in Bitcoin, but good try. Local merchants in the French city of Cannes will start accepting crypto payments, according to Artem Shaginian, founder and head of strategy of Web3 payment company called LunuPay. Okay, Lunu, yep, LunuPay. The Canada municipal government hopes for a 90% acceptance rate among local merchants. Can any of you figure out why this is happening? Now, I mean, you know, listen, I'll take one step back. This could be, probably not actually, though could be, a situation where they really want crypto adoption to happen. They sat in a room and they went, guys, we need to make Bitcoin amazing. Bitcoin awesome. Crypto go moon, or something along those lines. The more likely version is that a lot of rich people go to Cannes. And there's this weird misconception, as there has been for a while. If you've been here for at least 5 years, you've seen it. A lot of larger companies, like Tesla was one of them, have this thing. Here's a funny part. They have this thing where they assume that because you are rich, that you're going to spend your money with them. The 2.0 version of that is they assume if you're crypto rich, you're looking to spend your wealth with them. That's part of the reason why, for those of you who were also unaware, a lot of revelations this video. Years ago, remember when Tesla was accepting Bitcoin for cars? And then all of a sudden they were like, no, we're not accepting them. Do you want to know why? It's because not one single person bought a Tesla with Bitcoin. You can look it up. That was the reason. They thought that people were going to give them their Bitcoin in exchange for these cars that are worth about $22,000. This happens quite often in other countries around the world, as we've been hearing for years, also from companies and corporations. You know, don't forget that part, where the assumption is that, remember how, like, we're always talking about, listen, compared to these people, to the richy riches of the world, they think we are bottom of the barrel. Understand that. We are the lowest of the low. If we know that Bitcoin is going to $1 million per coin, guess who else knows? It's really interesting when you try to make sure that you, as a government or a company or a corporation, are trying to spend billions to accumulate Bitcoin yourselves. You know, a really easy way to be able to accept Bitcoin as well, or to get like the runoff from transaction fees and all these other things as a government, is you get people to accept it and give you their money in their country. Yeah. So this is just another interesting attempt by the government to basically figure out another way to accumulate more Bitcoin for themselves. Understand that just because a country, a state, a city has not announced to you that they are accumulating Bitcoin does not mean that they're not. That's always a common misconception. This is like when we kept on hearing about those companies who were bad mouthing us, and then at some point they came out of nowhere and were like, "No, we've been into Bitcoin for years." And I was like, "Huh, you made sure to do it as prices were low. Another interesting way is basically to get people to, spend your money on all of our rich stuff here. Bitcoin goes to $7 million in a couple of years, and then you sit there and go, remember that week in Cannes where we spent like $70K worth of Bitcoin? That was depressing. That's the Cannes news. This was also relatively popular. I think it's because well-known city for money, Bitcoin, they mesh together, they make Ultron or something like that, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. No, this is just another attempt. Once again, sure, okay, why not? I don't think anyone's going to be spending their money, and if they do, they're not going to be too thrilled about it in the future. Moving along. Also in the news, and this is how, once again, bang, bang, this is how I know that a lot of new people are in the cryptocurrency space. I don't understand. It doesn't take a lot of effort. I'm going to calm down. It doesn't take a lot of effort to read. I know it's very difficult. And no, really, like I actually know that it's quite difficult because I see my friends around me leaning heavily on AI all the time. The fact that we live in a world where you can, as simple as Google, just Googling something and like actually looking up the information and reading it yourself and finding like proof in articles that something has happened. It seems very difficult to a lot of people. So the future is going to be, And then I have a lot of friends who actually use AI services as like their new Google, not realizing that most of the stuff for the responses that they're getting back are so incorrect that it's actually weird, and I have to tell them to look up the actual answer, and then they get annoyed with me because they think I'm trying to get them to stop using AI, but I'm like, AI is not it. So, in the news today, my friends, this was quite popular as well, and then we're going to go a little bit back in time just so you can see what I'm always talking about. Brown University has revealed a near $5 million investment in BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust. Please tell me you see where this is going. This investment stems from a 13F filing, which revealed that 105,000 shares were purchased, marking the university's initial reported investment in a spot Bitcoin ETF. The position, acquired sometime in the first quarter of 2025, underscores growing institutional interest in Bitcoin through regulated financial instruments. Brown's total disclosed equity holdings in the filing stood at $216 million across 14 positions, placing the iBit stake at roughly 2.3% of the portfolio's value. A lot of people don't know, we've gone over this before, a lot of people don't know that U.S. universities are quite wealthy. I wonder why, right? And a lot of the money that they get from overcharging people for school, they actually almost nearly entirely use on investments. So they own huge amounts of land and huge amounts of real estate, and they also own huge amounts of stocks and bonds and mutual funds, and they work with hedge funds, and they also own crypto. This news floated around, and I knew instantly. It didn't take me more than half of a minute to know exactly what was going on. For those of you not looking at the screen, this is another article. Then the other article says Brown University is the first Ivy League school to buy Bitcoin. I assume you also know where this is going. Oh gosh, please tell me you know where this is going. These articles were everywhere. Everyone was discussing how amazing it was that Brown University was the first university in the United States to stand up tall and say, we did it. We bought some Bitcoin. And when I tell you it doesn't take a lot of effort to just look around or for someone to know something. That's always the most annoying, that's the word I'll use, annoying part for me when it comes to reading these articles and looking for news. About 6 times out of 10, a lot of the articles are either incorrect or they give once again, incorrect news or information about something that has happened. It's simply because they read it somewhere, usually read the title, and they assume that that's the entire story. My friends, this is an article for a number of years ago, for those of you not looking at the screen. The title says, Harvard, Yale, and Brown endowments have been buying Bitcoin for at least a year. The current year is 2025. The other articles I showed you were from 2025. Can you imagine when this article's from? Some of you already know. You have to know. It's from 2021. What? But how's that possible? How in the world? What? I'm not understanding how all of that could actually happen. Some of the largest university endowment funds in the United States have been quietly buying cryptocurrency for the past year or so, through accounts held at Coinbase and other exchanges, CoinDesk has learned. According to 2 sources familiar with the situation, Harvard, Yale, Brown, and the University of Michigan, as well as several other colleges, have been buying crypto directly on exchanges. Several Ivy League endowments took an interest in blockchain technology via crypto-focused venture capital funds back in 2018. So this news was floating around as, once again, it's not that it shouldn't be popular, but just about every single website that I found was declaring that this was monumental, and there should be plaques and commemorations about it because Brown was the first one to do it. Yeah, them and many other universities did it since it's 5, 6, or just around 7 years. And we know that they've been buying directly from Coinbase for at least 4 years. So once again, a lot of the news that we continuously get is always very odd. And I think it's just the way that things are going to always be, because a lot of people don't like to read for whatever reason. You know how I'm always saying companies and institutions and governments and sovereign wealth funds and endowments are all buying up tons of Bitcoin, and the people write in the comment section as if I'm completely insane and I have no idea what I'm talking about. Last point. Understand that everything that I say here, I only say if I know what I'm talking about. If at any given point I don't know what I'm talking about, I will tell you. How many times have you heard me say, please tell me what's going on? Please write in the comment section because I can't figure it out. I'm not really understanding. No, I've had this channel since 2016. I remember whether be it a blessing or a curse, I remember all of these things. I remember all the news stories. I remember all these things happening over and over. That's why I was telling you about the Facebook thing in the very beginning, because I was like, yeah, they tried this. They tried this before. So yeah, universities have been doing it for a while. I cannot begin to imagine what other companies and institutions and governments and endowments have also been doing it as well. But understand, if nothing else, that it's not just us here anymore. It's the big money, the big, billions of dollars. We overcharge everyone for school, and we're throwing huge amounts of money into crypto. These are the people who are here, who are buying up all the Bitcoin and want it all for themselves. When you hear me say that there will be nothing left for you in the future, it's not a joke. I'm not trying to, rally up the troops. No, I'm simply letting you know. Tomorrow, at some point, you will wake up from your slumber, the sun will be in the sky, and there will be less Bitcoin on crypto exchanges. It's just a matter of fact. Well, I can't believe it. Wow, good job, Brown, being the first university to do it Oh, maybe in 2025, maybe that's what they meant. They didn't mean that. They knew exactly what they were writing. Well, I hope you've all enjoyed. I hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I do hope it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.